Hey you think you're hot stuff? Just hit your first mill on your e-commerce store? Call yourself a serial entrepreneur, e-commerce genius, full stack, growth hacking marketer.
Hey Ken, don't you call yourself the Chief Growth Rebel?
Yeah, that's right. Hey guys, Ken Ott here, Chief Growth Rebel at Metacake. As you know, we're an e-commerce growth team behind the success of some of the most influential brands in the world. Now today, we're gonna look at something that should be on the mind of every business under the $10 million mark, and that's scale. Specifically, what it takes to go from $1 million to $10 million per year in revenue, and we call that the survival stage. So right now, you're probably feeling like you're riding a roller coaster. Massive things are happening. It's exciting, but it's overwhelming because essentially, you're living day to day. The goal here is to get through the survival stage and into the health stage. From a revenue perspective, this means breaking that $10 million per year threshold. So what are the important things to focus on to ensure we survive and grow? Because as you know, less than 7% of businesses make it to just the $1 million mark. And if we're gonna break the $10 million mark, we have to be really intentional. There are 6 areas you really need to focus on in this stage. Number 1, share your story. Customers buy emotions, they don't buy facts. Of course, your product has to live up to its promise, but more importantly, it has to move them emotionally and cause them to take action. Number 2, prove your product. Right now, people may be buying, but you still have to establish a product market fit. This means listening, learning, and adapting really fast. Just because you made $1 million doesn't mean you have a product that'll scale to $10 million or more. Number 3, customer acquisition. Right now, you're doing a ton of guerrilla marketing, but quickly you really need to find scalable pockets of your customers that will keep you going long term. Number 4, create raving fans. Most people are only concerned about turning visitors into customers, and they stop right there. But the key to success is turning customers into raving fans. Why? Because those fans will spread your brand further and faster than any amount of marketing ever could. The best way to do this? Create amazing customer service. And how do you give crazy, amazing customer service while not going bankrupt? You need crazy, amazing profit margins. Number 5, find your team. Right now, you're either running solo or you have a small chaotic team. You need to find smart, humble, and experienced people who are really passionate about your brand. Remember, experience is everything in e-commerce, so make sure to have some highly experienced partners working with you to scale your company. Number 6, finally, and most importantly, margins. You can't create fans, give crazy customer service, test and learn what works in marketing, or refine your product without margins that support all of it. I mean, at least 5 times markup. But honestly, we shoot for 30 times markup with all the brands we work with. Sound crazy? Well, that's the secret to success. These are the 6 key concepts to getting through the survival stage. We're moving past survival onto health. We're moving from agility to scale, and from acquisition to focusing on optimization. Now we're gonna grow past $10 million and shoot for that $50 million mark. This stage is about a fundamental shift in your organization and how you do business. It's extremely vital, and more than likely you're not even thinking about it. Now these are concepts we've learned by working with some of the biggest brands in the world, helping them scale through this stage in a really healthy way. These are the 6 primary areas that we've seen be most effective. Number 1, optimize everything. This is by far the lowest hanging fruit, and we're not just talking about optimizing your website. There's a huge difference between starting something and scaling something. When you're launching, there are lots of inefficiencies created, and that's okay. You're innovating and learning fast, but you have to be aware of when you need to transition to optimizing. This is where extreme growth comes in. Here are a few areas to look at for optimization: your fulfillment, your supply chain and manufacturing, your shipping systems, and your customer service. Number 2, expand your brand and your product line. A crucial piece to scaling in this stage is expanding your product line. This increases your customer lifetime value and gives you more entry products. This takes focus and investment, which you now have. This is cash that you likely did not have before. Another thing to consider is brand expansion. At this point, you've got some repeat customers and fans of your brand. They're happy with your product, so much so that they'll buy it again and refer it to their friends. Now give them something even more. Invest in creating a new line of products to draw fresh attention to your brand. Number 3, grow in influence and impact. We talk a lot about the value of creating fans, not just customers of your brand. And there's no more important time to do that than here. Investing in your customers will turn them into a part of your marketing machine and put them to work for you as true fans. Give them something to rave about. Number 4, focus on expanding your marketing. When you're in the survival stage, you're often surviving on 1 or 2 acquisition channels. This will work for a time, but it's high risk and not stable for long-term growth. It's time now to invest in finding new channels and diversifying your marketing. This also means spending on things that don't have direct ROI, but are insanely valuable to building your brand in the long run. These are things like finding new digital channels, trying out PR, SEO, and influencer outreach. Wins here will help you build momentum for exponential growth. Number 5, increase your customers' lifetime value. In earlier stages, everything's focused on winning a sale and getting new customers, and typically, very little focus is truly going to lifetime value. Now that makes sense because you're building and surviving day to day. However, at this point, focusing on increasing lifetime value of a customer is extremely important. Things like loyalty programs, additional products, and building relationships through content are how you do this. It takes time and intention, but it is extremely valuable. Lastly, number 6, bring in maturity and leadership to your company. Part of moving into this stage is realizing that you can't do it all alone or with an inexperienced team. That mindset was critical to getting you where you are right now, but has to shift to get to the next level. You may feel that putting systems and processes into place will slow you down and waste your time, but you need to realize that you're not an expert at everything. Find people who are experts that can put those systems and processes into place for you and build lasting growth and stability. So there you go, an overview of the top secrets that winning brands use to make it through the survival stage and into the health stage and beyond. Scale and optimization. The final and most fulfilling stage of business, and that's influence. Now, we're not talking about having millions of YouTube subscribers, the perfect, fake Instagram feed, and certainly not being under the influence. Because we'd never do that. That's not the type of influence we're talking about. We're talking about when we can stop focusing solely on ourselves and start contributing to the world around us. This stage is dear to our hearts. If you know anything about us, you'll know that our mission is to grow brands that matter. And to us, brands that matter are brands that have influence and use that influence to better the lives of people. Now, this is the stage that every brand was shooting for when they started. This is where you focus on not just building your business, but changing lives with it. Some say affluence breeds influence, and that couldn't be more true in business. You need to create a company of extreme success in order to get to this stage. There are clearly many things that contribute to getting to a place of true influence. But in our experience, there are 5 areas that really contribute to arriving at this rare stage. Number 1, re-clarify your mission and your vision. The mission and vision of your company are what got you to this point. But in the hustle of the game, this driving energy source can become stagnant or even worse, completely lost. This is especially true of brands that have been around for generations. You may have drifted away from your focus, or maybe you need to reimagine it in a much bigger way. The bottom line is it has to be genuine. It's time to reinvigorate your mission and your vision, because that's what connects you to the humans you serve and the heartbeat of what drives your team every mother-loving day. Number 2, innovate again and again and again and again and again and again and again. Never stop. Innovate again and again and again. Everybody with me? Again and again. Never stop. You get the point? All right, So given the position your company is in, let's just be honest. You've probably been tempted to lay back and let your foot up off the gas pedal and just coast for a while. Relax, right? After all, you've been stomping that pedal for so long. Well, unfortunately, this is no time to relax. Hear me when I say this, that stagnation, relaxation, the desire for peace and quiet, these are your biggest threats at this point. This is where you need to double down on innovation and R&D, period. You're once a disruptor. Do not become the disrupted. TiVo, AOL, AltaVista, Scrabble, Blockbuster, Xerox, MySpace, all taxi cabs, every fax machine. You get the point. Number 3, plan your exit strategy. Too many businesses never think about the end game. This is especially true for younger brands that have grown really fast. The bottom line is you need to think about the next stage now. This may or may not mean selling your business, but whatever your decision, the point is be intentional. Number 4, consider acquiring another company. The fact is, it's often cheaper and faster to acquire than to invent or create something from scratch. So be on the lookout for smaller brands that you could potentially acquire to help accomplish your goals. But keep in mind, any acquisition will need to align with your current product line and your mission, so it's a seamless benefit to your current customers. Number 5, maximize your influence and your impact. By the nature of being in this stage, your brand has influence and abundant resources in the marketplace. And that means you have the power to impact the world for the better. We call this being a brand that matters, and we believe it's a responsibility. This may be things like a genuine give back program for your company, or sowing into your community, maybe bettering your industry, or best yet, creating an amazing workplace for your team to thrive and grow. If you haven't already, you should be investing in leadership. Be the best leader that you can be, whether you're the founder, CEO, or department lead. Your leadership sets the tone, and it can either be a positive or negative influence on the people around you. Because at the end of the day, it's all about people. So don't forget that. So that's it. Our playbook on achieving the 3 stages of scale for any e-commerce business. Go check out the full article at metacake.com. Now please like, subscribe, and share this video with anyone who'd find it helpful. Thanks, and never stop growing. By the way, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more info on this and other growth videos.
One more time.
Not like that.